Is Dubai still a good investment in terms of waterfront properties in 2025?
See, when we talk about the property itself, it's a great investment, and when it adds to the waterfront view or the location, of course, it becomes even better.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's podcast. We have a very special guest today, Mr. Rohit from Classic Properties, who's a very experienced agent delivering multiple years of experience and multiple happy homes. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm fine. How about you?
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much for asking. Sir, since you are into this property business for so long, and I think now the question of why Dubai has mostly been answered. So now there is no more justification from any sales agent that why Dubai. What is the new thing that has come up recently in the market? What I understand, the new RAD is about waterfront. Can you explain on that?
Oh, definitely. We have waterfront properties always have been in demand, not just in Dubai, worldwide, because not every city or even countries have beaches, natural beaches. Dubai is very lucky to have natural beaches, natural waterfront, and our coastline, thanks to all these new projects like Palm Jebel Ali, Palm Jumeirah, and a host of new islands that have been reclaimed on our coast. Our coastline has increased from 71 kilometers to something close to 1500 kilometers, as far as I remember. So that reflects the demand for waterfront properties, and not just properties, but even other amenities like parks, malls, or everything that includes those kind of locations.
Excellent, excellent. So now, since you mentioned all these projects, is Dubai still a good investment in terms of waterfront properties in 2025?
See, when we talk about the property itself, it's a great investment, and when it adds to the waterfront view or the location, of course, it becomes even better. So, just to give you an example, in 2008, a Palm Jumeirah villa sold for 4.8 million dirham or 4.6 million dirhams, has resold it for 128 million dirhams in 2024. In between, it sold for 9 times, and this is how the price has appreciated.
Wow.
If you calculate it, it's almost like 2,600% odd percent of increase. So that answers the question whether if it is still a good price to buy. Of course, the property is going to increase.
Excellent, excellent. Now, Dubai waterfront properties. Now, when I hear the word waterfront properties, I have a beautiful imagination of having an apartment or a villa and overlooking the water. And it is now more of a lifestyle. Do you think lifestyle and as an investment both go hand in hand?
Of course, see, as I said earlier, the property is always a great investment. Whether you yourself live in it or you rent it out or it's just for investment. So the prices will increase. And as far as your living lifestyle is considered, that's up to you. If you want a waterfront property, you want it. And even if you're living in it, it's still growing on its own.
Mm. Hmm. Okay. All right. And what do you think right now, since Palm Jumeirah has already grown by leaps and bounds? What are the new upcoming things that can be, highlighted, not discovered, or and as you mentioned, the shoreline has grown a lot. So that means there is new space for developers to come.
So if you talk about the new projects, you could be looking at Dubai Islands at smaller price points. If you're looking at very, very luxury villas, then we are looking at something like Palm Jebel Ali, something which is like starting at 17 million dirhams, but still around twice the size of Palm Jumeirah. Even the land sizes for individual villas is almost 2 to 2.5x of Palm Jumeirah. But if you are looking at entry level where every common man can still afford to buy, could be Maritime City, where you can still buy a square feet of space for close to 2,200, 2,300 dirhams per square feet. The same in Palm Jebel Ali is in excess of 3,000 dirhams on an average. For a new property, it will go somewhere around 4,500 to 5,000 dirhams. So, yes, considering a new property, Maritime still offers great opportunity.
Dubai Islands and Palm Jebel Ali is something that social media has already highlighted multiple times. Very good to hear. Maritime City as a new option. But overall, waterfront market, do you think it is now already sold out, it is too expensive, it is undervalued? How do you put this?
See, what is expensive is very, very, is relational to what time you are talking about.
In terms of investment, in terms of getting an ROI, this is what the general perspective or general outlook of any investor is.
ROI wise, I would say that waterfront properties would definitely fetch you a couple of percents more. So, if a mainland property is giving you around 6% rental returns today, which is the range today, you could comfortably consider around 7.5 to 8%, maybe even more. It depends on the property. But I would say that still compared to a mainland property, your rental returns are close to 20% higher compared to your mainland property for a waterfront property.
And these ROI numbers that you're mentioning, compare it to the world and help our viewers understand.
Sorry, I don't have it. You know, sorry, I don't know.
Okay. Palm Jebel Ali you mentioned is Palm Jumeirah 2.0 starting from 17 million. How do you see its future outcome? Because this is right now only a piece of land.
Yes, it's a piece of land. But if you look at the prime property in Palm Jebel Ali, on Palm Jumeirah, it is touching to the north of, let's say, around between 5 to 7,000 dirhams. Whereas Palm Jebel Ali is still around 2,500, 2,300 dirhams. So you can see the price growth is bound to happen. Uh, it will take some time, but people who have invested now, have already invested, they will laugh their ways to the bank.
Mm. A very interesting point that you mentioned earlier was the example wherein you quoted the Palm Jumeirah villa that was bought and sold at a monstrous price. How long should an investor have a time frame when he's investing?
I would say a minimum of 5 years. You need to have some maturity to the investment. Of course, in Dubai, the market is so good that you can enter today and exit in 6 months, 1 year's time. You still make 15 to 20% odd profits. But in really to create wealth, you should be waiting for 5 to 8 years.
So Dubai is offering both for short-term investors as well as long-term patient investors.
Of course.
What are the projects that you would recommend for short-term investments in new areas, I would say?
So in the new area side, you have Dubai South, where the prices have appreciated quite a lot. But we see still a lot of space available for new people to get in and still make some money. As I said, Maritime City is amazing for mid to small size ticket sizes. If you go on the big ones, as you rightly said, it's Palm Jebel Ali. So those are the great locations that we are looking at. Other than that, I would say that generally Dubai is doing very well. The population is set to grow double from here by 2040. That's the uh, Vision 2040 of the Dubai government. So we are in for a very, very good bull run in the property markets.
Hmm. And what kind of developers are we looking at? What is your favorite developer and what is your favorite, I would say, his development?
So see, Dubai's framework doesn't allow fly-by-night operators to get into it.
Which is, thank God, a great thing,
Yes.
which is a great bonus for all investors.
So I would say that most of the developers which are there in the market, we like a lot of them. Personally, as I would say, Imar, Nakhil, Danube has been doing very good job of late. But then there are very, very many and small new developers who are doing great jobs in their own pockets. So it depends really on which project or which location are we talking about, and the choice of developers could change. But overall, I would say yes, sir, the top five would be Damak, Imar, Nakhil, Dubai Properties, Miras, Danyo.
So choosing a developer is also, let's say, a point wherein it has to be considered when buying a property.
Oh yes, oh yes. This, if you are buying to invest, the choice of developer will be very, very important. And if you want to sell it off in a short time before the property is done, or even after once the property is done and immediately want to sell it off, the choice of developer will matter a lot to decide what profit you will make.
Even does your choice of developer change when coming to the waterfront properties as compared to the mainland?
On the waterfront side, there are anyway very, very, very few developers available. So your luxury of choices becomes anyway very, very slim. So I would suggest that have a look at the project, look at their specs, look at the sizes, the prices, the whole amenity infrastructure, and go for one of those.
Excellent. And what is your most exciting project that you see or would recommend right now? Just one. Not many, I know, because there are so many new things coming up in Dubai. Everything changes overnight, but just one.
I would say in Emar's Valley on the Lohia Lane Road, that is away from the clutter. Very, very unique. Not much of competition around it. So they have Shoba and Emar over there. So if I had to put my money,
But that's in the mainland. Waterfront, what do you think?
Waterfront, definitely I will go to Maritime City or Dubai Islands, one of them, or maybe Maritime City,
Yeah. Maritime City, I think, is something that should be explored.
because it will have its own beach as well, and very, very exclusive towers, and not too much of construction on that plot. So my vote would go for Maritime.
So, a lot of open views.
Open views, natural kind of a beach, with a lot of amenities like supermarkets, shopping mall, hospital, 3 parks. So a lot of things
You
to talk
mentioned.
about. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's what we have for today. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Trevor. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Pleasure.